Never to be Unsung, a Rock Trilogy, Volume 1, by J.T. Thilbertson. Read by the author. Just a short disclaimer. The following story is a fictional work. Therefore, any connections of the characters in this story to any historical figures, living or deceased, are also fictional. Such historical figures are worthy of the honorable reputations they earned in their lifetime, something which this author staunchly respects. Chapter 1, August 1972, Perth, Australia.
Maddman Maddox, they called him. This was the stage name of Eddie Maddox, a 38-year-old rebel rocker from Manchester, England. As rock legends go, he was a late bloomer. His particular brand of decibel debauchery was unleashed on an unsuspecting public 8 years earlier, fueled by the untimely death of his wife Elise, coupled with the first strains of a midlife crisis looming on the horizon. Elise had borne him a daughter, Ashley, now 17. She was bright, musically talented, and about as comely as they get, with amber-red hair. As Solomon once said, there's nothing new under the sun, no, not one thing. And in this, even bad boy Eddie Maddox found himself singing the refrain of countless daddies before him. The prettier the daughter, the worrier the father. Having found himself a single parent at 30, with a music career that had just taken off, he began dragging Ashley, then aged 9, on the road with him, along with her private tutor and guardian, Purdy Minter. Maddox and his brood of merry madmen had just wound up a successful tour of New Zealand and Australia, ending in Perth 3 days earlier. The band and road crew had already flown back to England to begin enjoying a month's rest before beginning a 6-month blaze across the States, but Eddie remained behind in Perth because Ashley was missing. She had left a note for Purdy, not her father, that she was going to be, quote, out and about for a few days, end quote, and that she was not to worry. She had no aught with Purdy, as they had grown rather close over the years, but as for her father, he was about to endure a bucket of ice water in the face which few parents receive, and even fewer see coming. There was a silent time bomb inside of Ashley, which had been ticking and amassing black powder for 8 years. 3 days before, it had just as silently and finally detonated. After 3 days of scouring the city for her, Eddie and Purdy returned to their suite at the Ritz-Carlton, only to find her sitting at the table with 3 shopping bags full of books. She looked over at them and simply said, "Hello," then calmly continued leafing through one of the books. Purdy was bursting with things to say at first, but then thought better of it. She tapped Eddie on the arm. "I'll be down the hall if you should need me," she offered, then quietly left the room. Eddie pulled out one of the chairs at the table and turned it around, sitting with his arms folded on the back of the chair. "Just where have you been, young lady?" he demanded. "I left a note," she responded, her eyes still in the book. "You left Purdy a note," he complained. "My issue isn't with Purdy," she explained. "Oh, I see then," he began. "So there's an issue, and your issue is with me. Just can't sneak the obvious past you, eh?" she quipped. Now, though Eddie loved his daughter, the question of how to was one which confounded him often. He had at least narrowed the problem down to something which he referred to as feminese, a language that only women understand among themselves. Example, feminese: "Oh, I don't want anything for my birthday." English: "Okay, Buster, let's see how much you really care." How many times had he lamented that there was no manual available to decipher that ancient code? If this had been a son, he reasoned, he could have simply rough-housed some sense into him, and they would have had a belly laugh about it over a warm brew when he got older. But you just can't do that with one of these. Regrettably, he simply had no clue about how to handle this estrogen-powered spinning top which he had sired. So he mustered all the patience he could find and pressed on. He drew a deep sigh with his eyes closed. "The obvious, as you call it," he began, "is the matter of just what the issue is, and that, I'm afraid, is something that has, in fact, gotten by me. So would you like to share the issue with the rest of the class, Miss Ashley?" His voice was becoming lower now, with a decisively deliberate tone. "Especially," he continued, "since you do happen to be here at the moment," he said with poignant sarcasm. "After," he went on, "being AWOL for 3 excruciatingly worrisome days."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?